first things first, I do have a soft spot for them because I really enjoyed Nick Wright. Even still, I still do enjoy him, but I enjoyed Nick Wright before the Chiefs got very good. And so that's really my big gripes with first things first. If I was talking to the first things first, like, it's like, guys, congratulations on dicking the absolute fuck out of the Raiders, 42-9 or whatever the fuck they beat them by the second game of their season there. But I mean, you know what? Like, nobody fucking cares. Like, it's the goddamn Raiders. The Raiders got in on a fucking plea bargain, into the postseason. So it's one of those things where I wouldn't fucking wear that as a crown. And I think that that's something that Nick Wright does constantly. Is his Chiefs are infallible. Nobody could understand why Patrick Mahomes has kind of had a bit of a regression this season. But speaking of those Chiefs, I mean, it's like he's blind. They won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They lost the Super Bowl last year. They lost in the AFC Championship game this year. I mean, that is literally walking downstairs insofar as, like, team accomplishments, is consistently achieving less and less, And so I know that they open up, or I guess they close the season as favorites for this next season to win it all again. But it's just like, that's sincerely my only thing that I don't like about Nick Wright, is that I would say, like, man, like, you guys are where you are at, top of the league, a very, very good team. I don't think that you should necessarily, wax poetic every time that you win against the Giants by a field goal. You know what I mean? It's like, that's nothing to hang your hat on. It's not a crown. You barely fucking escaped. Most people thought you probably should have lost that goddamn game, but, well, you know what? No, I take that back. The Giants were lucky to be in it at the end of the game. But the point is that, this is the kind of thing with, like, a dynasty. Is like, we don't give a shit that Tom Brady got to his 30th fucking AFC Championship game. If he's not winning the Super Bowl, then he failed that season. It's his fucking fault that he did that to himself by winning 5 fucking Super Bowls. He has to go get a 6th, or who gives a shit? He has to go get a 7th, or who gives a shit? And part of that, again, is the same thing, kind of like what I've heard from the fellas on Undisputed quite a bit. Which is that, Aaron Rodgers, great, he has 4 MVPs, but all of 1 Super Bowl ring, like, Super Bowl win, I guess. So, I don't know, otherwise, I mean, like, I think Broussard is a very middle of the way, he's a good rationale voice for, like, I generally find myself agreeing with him, except for thinking that, Jordan is still the greatest of all time. I mean, it's like, I just, what is the metric that you want to judge by, right? Like, well, he was 6-0 in the finals and he had 6 MVPs, finals MVPs. Well, that's great, but I mean, he only went to 6, and before those finals appearances, he wasn't doing anything. He was. I think I'm going to use this as I think that's going to be a catchphrase of mine, ladies and gentlemen, is he would get to the playoffs on plea bargains, and then, we don't even want to talk about his time with the Wizards. And why exactly again did he retire the first time? He had to go play baseball because his dad died. I know what the reasoning is. I'm just saying, like, it's just, nobody made him do that, But every other metric, if for some ungodly reason, Chris Broussard happens to be watching or listening to this or what have you, which would be an incredible, unbelievably break my imagination kind of thing. That I would, like, what do you want? You want the better shooter? It's LeBron. Like, MJ still holds the free throw part, but as far as everything else, I mean, he defends every position and he defends them better than MJ did. Has a better deep shot, hits them more accurately, right? Has been playing at a much higher pace much longer. Much longer isn't fair yet. We talk about, like, season 19, season 20. I think it's fair to say much longer, but otherwise I think Broussard is a very good kind of middle of the range, middle of the pack guy. Even if I think that he's kind of generally too hard, because it's like, Aaron Rodgers, hey, he we all agree he shit the fucking bed this year. Forcing all of 10 points in Lambeau as the number 1 seed. You know what I mean? I know a lot of Packers fans that are like, I'm pretty sure that if we got past the 49ers, we're fucking champions this year. Not to say that the Rams wouldn't have given us any trouble, but we already, we beat them by, I don't think it was 14. I think it was like 10 or something like that. But, it was fucking, it wasn't a very close game up until, Pat Stafford or whatever. Pad Statford, excuse me. I guess that's the correct pronunciation. Did a couple of things in the fourth quarter that were ultimately meaningless.